If you're over 50 and using creatine, or even thinking about starting, this is something you need to hear first. Creatine can be one of the most effective supplements for aging bodies, supporting strength, muscle preservation, and everyday performance. But here's what often gets missed. The way creatine affects your body after 50 isn't always explained clearly. When people don't understand these effects, they assume something is wrong and give up too soon. These warning effects aren't reasons to fear creatine. In fact, most of them are completely normal responses that become confusing only when no one explains what's happening. Things like scale weight changes, digestion discomfort, hydration needs, or lab results can feel alarming if you're not prepared. Without context, people blame creatine itself instead of adjusting how they use it. Another issue is that most creatine advice is aimed at younger lifters chasing muscle size. That information doesn't always apply to someone over 50 who cares more about joint health, balance, recovery, and staying independent. When creatine is used with the wrong expectations, it feels disappointing instead of supportive. Understanding these effects changes everything. When you know what to expect, creatine becomes easier to use and far more effective. You can avoid unnecessary stress, make simple adjustments, and focus on the benefits that actually matter at this stage of life. So let's break down 5 warning effects of creatine after age 50 that most people completely overlook. No scare tactics, no hype, just clear, practical information so you can use creatine confidently, avoid common mistakes, and get the benefits without blaming the wrong thing. But before we begin, drop your name and the city you're watching from in the comments below. We read and reply to every single comment. Now, without any further ado, let's start with number 5, and this one will surprise you. Number 5. You may feel heavy or sluggish at first. The first warning isn't pain. It's a strange feeling, and that's exactly why it confuses so many people. Some adults over 50 notice that during the first 1 to 2 weeks of taking creatine, their body feels different. Not injured, not sick, just heavier, tighter, or slightly sluggish. Movements may feel a bit less fluid at first, and energy might feel oddly uneven. This sensation can be unsettling if you're not expecting it. What's actually happening is a normal adjustment process. Creatine increases the amount of water and glycogen stored inside your muscle cells. This changes how your muscles feel and how your body distributes fluids. Muscles become fuller and more hydrated, which is beneficial for strength and performance. But it can temporarily alter how light or heavy you feel in your body. For some people, especially after 50, this internal shift feels noticeable before it feels helpful. The problem isn't the sensation itself, it's how people interpret it. Many assume something is wrong and stop taking creatine immediately. In reality, the body simply needs time to adapt to this new internal environment. Just like starting a new exercise routine can cause temporary stiffness before strength improves, creatine can cause a short adjustment phase before benefits show up. This feeling usually fades as your system adapts and hydration levels balance out. Drinking enough water, keeping doses moderate, and staying consistent all help speed up this process. Once the adjustment phase passes, many people report feeling stronger, more stable, and more capable than before. The warning here isn't danger, it's change. Creatine is doing something, and your body is learning how to handle it. Quitting too early means never reaching the stage where the benefits become obvious. If there's no pain, no severe discomfort, and no medical red flags, patience is often the best move. Give your body time to adjust, and this strange early feeling usually becomes a sign that progress is on the way. Number 4. Sleep can feel off. If timing is poor, this one surprises a lot of people because creatine is rarely associated with sleep issues. It's not a stimulant like caffeine, and it doesn't give you a sudden energy rush. However, creatine supports cellular energy production, and for some adults over 50, taking it late in the evening can make falling asleep more difficult. The body doesn't feel wired. It just feels more awake, alert, or less ready to wind down. As we age, our sleep patterns become more sensitive to changes in routine, energy levels, and timing. Even subtle shifts can affect how quickly we fall asleep. When creatine increases available energy in cells, some people notice that their usual nighttime fatigue doesn't hit as strongly. They may lie in bed feeling mentally or physically alert, even though they aren't restless or anxious. This effect doesn't happen to everyone, but it's common enough to be worth paying attention to. The mistake many people make is assuming creatine is causing insomnia or that it doesn't agree with them. In reality, it's often just a timing issue. Taking creatine late in the day gives your body an energy support signal closer to bedtime, which can interfere with natural wind-down cues. This is especially noticeable in people who already have lighter or more fragmented sleep after 50. The fix is simple and effective. Adjust the timing. Taking creatine earlier in the day, in the morning, or around midday, works better for many older adults. This allows your body to use the energy support during active hours, while still letting your natural sleep rhythm take over at night. The benefits of creatine remain the same, only the timing changes. If sleep improves after shifting creatine earlier, that's a clear sign it was never a problem with the supplement itself. It was simply a matter of alignment. Small adjustments like this can make creatine easier to use and far more comfortable without giving up its benefits. Number 3. Blood pressure can feel different without actually rising. This warning is about sensation, not numbers, and that distinction matters more than most people realize. Creatine is known for increasing muscle fullness by pulling water into muscle cells and improving cellular energy availability. During workouts or even light activity, this can increase blood flow and create a pumped or tight feeling in the muscles. For some people, especially those over 50, these sensations feel unfamiliar and can easily be misinterpreted as something going wrong. Instead of feeling pain, people often describe pressure, tightness, or a sense of fullness that wasn't there before. Because these sensations are new, it's easy to assume they're linked to blood pressure changes or cardiovascular stress. This is where anxiety can creep in. The body feels different, so the mind fills in the blanks often with worst-case assumptions. However, in most healthy adults, creatine does not increase blood pressure when taken at recommended doses. The issue isn't what the numbers say, it's how the sensations feel. As we age, body awareness becomes sharper, and tolerance for unfamiliar physical feedback tends to drop. Small changes that might have been ignored at 30 can feel alarming at 50 or 60. Creatine can amplify muscle engagement and circulation during movement, which may feel intense at first, even when everything is functioning normally. Without checking actual measurements, people may quit prematurely or blame creatine for a problem that doesn't exist. The smarter approach is simple. Measure, don't guess. If you're concerned, check your blood pressure with a reliable monitor rather than relying on sensation alone. Pay attention to patterns instead of single moments. Are readings consistently elevated, or do they remain normal despite the new feelings? In most cases, the numbers tell a reassuring story. Over time, these sensations usually fade as your body adapts to higher muscle hydration and improved energy delivery. What initially feels strange often becomes unnoticeable. The real warning here isn't creatine. It's confusing unfamiliar sensations with danger. Understanding the difference helps you stay calm, informed, and consistent, which is exactly how creatine delivers its long-term benefits. Number 2. Joint discomfort from muscle imbalance. Stronger muscles can expose weak links, and this is one of the most misunderstood warnings about creatine, especially after 50. Creatine improves the way muscles produce and use energy, which allows them to contract more forcefully and recover faster. That's a great thing, but muscles are only one part of the movement system. Joints, tendons, and ligaments play just as important a role, and they adapt much more slowly than muscle tissue. As we age, connective tissue naturally becomes less elastic and more prone to stiffness. When creatine boosts muscle performance, those muscles may suddenly generate more force than the surrounding joints and tendons are used to handling. This can show up as knee soreness when climbing stairs, shoulder discomfort during pressing movements, or elbow irritation during pulling exercises. It feels like a problem caused by creatine, but in reality, it's a mismatch in adaptation speed. The muscles are ready to do more, while the support system needs extra time. This warning isn't a signal to stop using creatine. It's a signal to train smarter. Slowing down progression becomes essential. Increasing weight, volume, or intensity too quickly is the real risk. Warm-ups, mobility work, and controlled movement suddenly matter more than chasing numbers or intensity. Simple habits like longer joint-specific warm-ups, lighter sets before heavy effort, and paying attention to form can dramatically reduce discomfort. Recovery also becomes non-negotiable. Tendons and ligaments rely heavily on rest, hydration, and consistent movement patterns to adapt. Skipping rest days or pushing through joint pain because muscles feel strong is where trouble starts. Creatine supports muscular effort, but it doesn't protect joints from overuse or poor mechanics. The key takeaway is perspective. Creatine didn't create a weakness. It revealed one that was already there. That's actually useful information. It gives you the chance to improve mobility, strengthen stabilizing muscles, and build joint resilience before something more serious develops. Used with patience and awareness, creatine can make your body stronger overall, not just more powerful in one area. Number 1. Expecting energy without movement. This is the biggest misunderstanding of all, and it causes more frustration than almost any other issue with creatine after 50. Creatine improves how your body produces and recycles energy at the cellular level, especially inside muscle cells. But it doesn't magically create motivation, movement, or momentum on its own. Some people start taking creatine and expect to feel a surge of energy while sitting at a desk or relaxing on the couch. When that boost doesn't show up, they assume creatine isn't working or that it isn't meant for their age. The truth is, creatine is a performance enhancer, not a stimulant. It helps your body do work more efficiently once you actually start moving. That's an important distinction. Over 50, energy often feels different than it did in younger years. It's less about sudden bursts and more about sustained ability. Creatine supports that sustained effort, but only when there's effort to support. Without movement, there's nothing for it to enhance. This misunderstanding creates a warning effect rooted in disappointment rather than danger. People quit too soon because their expectations don't match how creatine actually functions. They wait for motivation to appear first, when in reality, movement is what unlocks the benefit. Even simple activities like walking, light resistance training, body weight exercises, or daily mobility work are enough to activate creatine's effects. Once movement becomes consistent, many people notice better endurance, less fatigue, and smoother recovery, not instant excitement. Another layer to this issue is mental framing. After 50, it's easy to hope a supplement will restore youthful energy without effort. Creatine isn't that kind of solution. It works quietly in the background, supporting muscles so activity feels easier over time. Stairs feel less draining, long walks feel more manageable, and strength work feels more controlled. These changes are subtle but meaningful, and they compound with consistency. The real lesson is simple but powerful. Creatine rewards action. It doesn't replace it. Pairing creatine with regular movement turns it into a valuable ally for aging bodies. Taking it without moving only leads to confusion. When expectations align with reality, creatine stops being disappointing and starts being effective. So here's the real takeaway. Creatine after 50 isn't risky, misusing it is. Most problems come from timing, expectations, hydration, or pushing the body faster than joints can handle. Used correctly, creatine can support strength, energy, and daily function well into later life. Now I want to hear from you. Are you over 50 and using creatine right now? Did any of these surprise you? Or do you want a follow-up video on best timing, ideal dosage after 50, or how to combine creatine with light exercise safely? Drop a comment, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.